Enterprise Harness is a cable design software tool. This tool makes cable design on a 3D CAD model. Enterprise Harness has 5 salient features. 1. It is easy to use. You can do harness design even if you have never used a mechanical CAD software before. 2. It allows you to make cables for an entire large-scale system. You can design several thousand cables without any stress. 3. It reduces human error. It eliminates careless mistakes that humans are prone to making. 4. It can prevent defects arising from cables. It has a problem detection function that is only available in a cable design tool, and it allows you to detect problems with a higher accuracy than a normal CAD program. 5. It automatically creates order drawings from 3D data, which drastically shortens the time required for making drawings. These 5 salient features deliver yield improvement and effort reduction. This slide introduces the data flow in mechanical CAD, electrical CAD, and Enterprise Harness. To begin, a JT or VRML file is generated from mechanical CAD, and a mechanical model is imported into Enterprise Harness. When the mechanical CAD used is SolidWorks, you can directly import the mechanical model into Enterprise Harness through API. In Enterprise Harness, you create a cable design on the imported mechanical model. Enterprise Harness can import the From To list that shows the cable connection information between connectors. By importing the From To list generated from electrical CAD, you can design accurate and error-free cables. You can export to electrical CAD the From To list in CSV format that has the length information of cables designed with Enterprise Harness. Some electrical CAD, like Zuken E3, can import the From To list without requiring any setup. Enterprise Harness can export step files. Cable configurations designed in Enterprise Harness can be imported to mechanical CAD as a step file. For SolidWorks, Enterprise Harness can directly export cable configuration and information through API as well. Enterprise Harness can generate drawings for purchase orders from a 3D cable model. We will now explain how to use Enterprise Harness. This explains the procedure of creating a route. In Enterprise Harness, you can design a route by clicking the pathway of the cable. You can design a route using a very intuitive operation. Let us now add a route. Click the connector to be joined by the route and the pathway of the route. A route has been added. We will now create a branched route. Click the connector to be joined by the route and place it on the route where you can create a branch. A branched route has been created. Complete all routes following the same steps. With this, we were able to create routes that join the connectors. However, the routes we have added may have problems such as interference with the model and curvature factor. Let us solve these problems by editing the routes. Let us now edit the routes. Let us take a look at the routes we created. It seems this part is interfering. Let us edit this route and remove the interference. Selecting the point you clicked when creating the route will show a square box. Dragging the box will move the points of the route according to the dragged surface, and it will change the route's position. Now the route no longer interferes. In this manner, you can incorporate the designer's ideas using intuitive operations. We will now explain about cable length display and thickness calculation. Let us measure the length of the route we created. To begin, select the route whose length you want to measure. A white line will appear on the selected route. The length of the selected route appears in the property window on the bottom left. Next, decide the thickness of the route. Enterprise Harness has a thickness calculation function. Using the thickness calculation function, you can calculate the approximate thickness when the expected cable is laid, and you can apply it. Edit the route whose thickness you want to change. Entering the number of cables and their thickness will calculate the diameter of the route. The thickness of the route has been changed to the result calculated earlier. In this manner, you can verify in advance whether the harness will pass through the narrow chassis or not. Next, we will explain about the function that shows the usable radius of curvature error places. By specifying the usable radius of curvature for the route, you can display places with errors. Places that exceed the specified usable radius of curvature will appear in red as an error. Editing the route such that errors are removed will eliminate the places that are bending more than the specified radius of curvature. In this manner, you can modify the route so that it has the correct bending. Next, we will explain about adding band and tire and displaying wire shape. Add a band for preventing cables from disassembling. Click the point where you want to create a band. You can specify the color, thickness, and width of the band. The band will be created at the clicked point. Add a band at all points having branches. You can move the bands you created by dragging the mouse. In this manner, you can decide the position of the band. We will now explain about tubes. For protecting wires from hazardous places that may damage the wire, such as the edge of a plate, wires are sometimes protected with a tube. In Enterprise Harness, you can place a tube in the selected section. By adding tubes in this manner, you can make a design that protects against hazardous points. You can verify whether the wire will pass through the chassis or not with a tube placed on it. Next, we will explain about displaying wires. It is recommended to use real models as much as possible in documents such as work instructions. Additionally, during discussions such as design reviews based on a virtual model, using real configurations will make it easier to imagine the actual product. In Enterprise Harness, you can express the specified points or overall design with a realistic wire configuration. We will show the overall design with a realistic wire configuration. A detailed wire configuration has appeared. In this manner, by displaying a realistic wire configuration, you can conduct an accurate verification that represents the actual product during design review. You can create work instructions that accurately convey the insertion direction of a connector that may easily be mistaken. Now, we will explain about linked Enterprise Harness and electrical CAD. We will explain about placing connectors. Selecting the library on the bottom left will show the connector library. This library is registered by the user. Place a connector from the connector library that has appeared. You can place connectors on the model by the drag and drop operation from the library. You can freely change the position and direction of the connectors you placed. Next, we will explain about importing the from-to list. For completing the wiring, it is necessary to place all connectors used in electrical CAD. In Enterprise Harness, by importing the from-to list exported from electrical CAD, you can display the list of connectors used in the model. To start with, specify the from-to list to be imported. The connectors used in the model are displayed. As for the connectors imported in the list, place them on the model with drag and drop. In this manner, by importing the from-to list, you can eliminate human error such as placing incorrect connectors. Automatic wiring by importing the from-to list. By importing the connection information between connectors created with electrical CAD, you can add cable information. This greatly reduces the effort of design for every single cable. Using the information of electrical CAD as the master, you can create error-free wiring. Now, let us actually operate it and see. Open the from-to file exported from electrical CAD in CSV format. Information about the connection between connectors available in the file will be displayed as a list. In the list, you can check the identification name of the from connector and pin name and the identification of the to connector and pin name. Clicking the OK button will create a cable connecting two connectors. From the thickness information of the cable, the thickness of the route will automatically change. In this manner, you can do batch processing of cable wiring joining connectors, and therefore you can add cable information in a short time. Exporting the from-to list. You can export the wiring results of the cables you designed as a from-to list in CSV format. The exported list will contain the length information of cables. You can use this information for calculating the weight and price of the cables. Now let us actually operate it and see. Click Export From To in the Export menu. Enter the file name to be exported and then click the Save button. The from-to list has been exported. This is the exported from-to list. In the exported from-to list, the length information of cables has been added. You can calculate the weight and price of the cables by using this information. Finally, we will touch upon preparing drawings for purchase orders and other options. Enterprise Layout. Enterprise Layout is a tool for making two-dimensional drawings for purchase orders. It works in tandem with Enterprise Harness. You can automatically create a projected diagram from a 3D model. Therefore, you can drastically shorten the work time compared with creating the drawing from scratch. Let us actually operate it and see. Select the harness for which you want to create drawings for purchase orders. In addition, decide the camera angle that assumes the harness drawing being created. Once the camera angle is decided, select Export Enterprise Layout File from the menu and export the file to be used in Enterprise Layout. These are Enterprise Layout screens. Import the Enterprise Layout file exported earlier into Enterprise Layout. The 2D projected diagram of the cables created in Enterprise Harness will appear here. In this 2D projected diagram, the dimensions and model name of the connectors will automatically be written based on the information of the 3D harness model. Therefore, it eliminates mistakes such as errors in writing dimensions. Now, let us complete the harness drawing. To begin, you can place the drawing frame required for drawing with drag and drop from the library. Now, let us prepare the layout of the drawing. You can edit a route by dragging it. In a normal 2D CAD, lines will become unorganized because there is no connection relation between lines. This editing work is very cumbersome. In Enterprise Layout, connection information is not deleted even after editing. Therefore, you can focus on creating the layout. Points where routes are overlapping will appear in an orange color as a warning. Remove the overlapping parts by dragging the route. The identification name and dimensional line of connectors will automatically follow the editing work. Therefore, you hardly need perform any operation other than dragging the routes. From the library, you can add annotations required for the drawing. You can also create your own library. You can change the characters of the library you place using the text box. You can also add the required dimensions at a later point. For example, you may want to write the dimensions of the tube or specify the bundling position of the band. In Enterprise Layout, add the dimension by clicking the starting point and the ending point of the dimension. You can move the dimension by dragging it. You can also change the display value of the dimension as you like. Also, you can directly create an annotation without using the library. You can also change the font of characters that you added as annotation. We will change the size of the characters here. Specifying the font size of the characters and clicking the OK button will change the font size of the characters. In this manner, we can easily align the format of the drawing. Therefore, you can create an accurate harness drawing. Design Rule Check. The Design Rule Check function is a function for detecting hazardous places in the route. You can detect interference with a chassis and hazardous edges within the movable range of the route, as well as hazardous cables that may get pinched during assembly. You can efficiently detect problems that you cannot detect even in an actual machine. Let us actually operate it and see. Click the toolbar button to enable the Design Rule Check. Selecting a route will show its movable range. You can visually check the movement of the route. In addition, points near hazardous edges will be displayed with a blue straight line. It is necessary to deal with these hazardous areas. Here, we will pass the wire through a clamp used for arresting the movements of the wire. Limiting the movement of the wire reduces the movable range, so the wire no longer touches the hazardous places. If there are no hazardous places, the color of the route will change to a normal color. In this manner, by visually checking the hazardous places, you can efficiently deal with the hazards and enhance the quality of the harness. The reality is, we are not able to work on improving harness design despite the fact that the overall design of the product is the bottleneck. Enterprise Harness is packed with the knowledge required for developing harnesses from concept design up to production. To begin, try improving one process in harness design. Improving just one process will lead to the improvement of the overall design. Let us begin design improvement with Enterprise Harness.